And welcome back. This video is going to be a little bit different in that I'm kind of showing the assembly process for the FlyLED's landing lights. And specifically, this is the 7-star landing lights, otherwise also known as a 6+1. The reason for that is that of the 7 modules or LEDs, the center LED can be made to be a taxi light, and that's the direction that I decided to go with this. It's a fairly easy setup. As you see through this video, it's real easy to do. They're very well priced, and it's just another component of, I'm building this airplane on my own, and we'll see what all I can actually build on my own. And that's going to be the theme with my airplane going forward. So there's going to be some points here where I'll talk as I'm videoing, and we'll talk about the whole thing here in just a second.
Oh no, it's actually pretty impressive how easy these lights seem to be. So yeah, it basically it's going to be your heat sink. Obviously this is the back end. This will be the front end of it. It'll be that with your control panel mounted on top. And then it looks like the spacers will go behind this to hold it away from, but it'll mount like that. These will all looks like they mount this way into each of these sections here, and then the LED is obviously on the control panel, and then each one of these will sit inside that cup. And that's about it. And then I'll bet you these two lenses here are more than likely for the centerpiece, which is going to be for your landing or your taxi lights. So the instructions here just talk about to glue these spacers in place, just simply using acetone and a brush, which I've never seen before, and it actually works. It's there. So just using the screws as a guide, and then just brushing this around the corners, and it seems to work pretty well.
So both the spacers and that webbing are 3D printed pieces, and they seem to be very easy to line up, not a lot of slop when I was installing the spacers. And like I said, it was really neat to be able to just use acetone, and I eventually used it on the face of both the webbing and the spacer, and they held together really well. And so now I get into installing the cups for the LED lenses, and those all went in fairly easy as well.
So the next step is going to be putting these lenses in place. The caution here is to wipe it down to get any fingerprints and dust off the conical surfaces so it doesn't have any dirt there. But the instruction itself talks about there's along the 4 corners here, 4 sides here, there's notches. Now 2 of them you can feel, these 2 here, you can feel an edge that they're cut out. And then these ones here actually feel like a tab on the back side here. So they've each got a little tab here, and so yeah, the portion with the tab here is going to go where this little piece is on the side here, and that's going to be used to engage it. So I'm going to wipe this down, and then we'll see if we get this in there correctly.
So the lenses themselves, I believe it's an acrylic. They weren't too terrible to put in. Or took a little bit of finagling in making sure that you turned it correctly. The center light will hold the diffuser lens, and so you want to make sure that those indents, the ones that you can feel the edges on, are lined up perfectly with that same indent on the cup, so that way you can snap the lens in place. But otherwise, the other ones just went into place.
So yeah, these are all of the LEDs. The power source and the ground, and looks like everything else, all the signals, everything going to it, and then the 2 mounting holes onto the leading edge compartment for the landing lights.
And the next step is to install the LED circuit board to the heatsink. And it provides this heatsink plaster, as it calls it, and it tells you that you have about an hour before it starts to set. So you have plenty of time. There's no rush during these steps. And so it's just a simple matter of using the 3 center screws to line all the holes up and get everything ready for the next step.
Okay, so this next step is talking about the cups each have 2 little pins on either side of the center, and those will line up with these 2 holes on either side of the LEDs. So you want to make sure you're lining that up correctly with those locating pins. So then it says it's got a silver pin mark, and that's what this is here. And it's telling you it needs to be on this side, as shown here. So the little mark on the side of the frame, outside the LED on this side, so it lines up like this.
So this step actually took me quite some time. Those 3 center screws, as you'll see here in a minute, I had quite a bit of trouble trying to get the screws in place, just because it's such a small access area between those lenses, and I didn't have a magnetic screwdriver to try to help hold the screws as I was trying to drop them down. So it took a little bit of finagling. But once I got that set in place, and as you see there, I start pressing down, and as I spoke to, there's those 2 little pins on either side of the LED on the webbing frame that snap into place to hold it and make sure it's all centered and flush against the circuit board to make sure that all the LED light is going out the front. And so this whole step, it took a little while, but finally you get it, and then the rest of it just comes along fairly easily.
So that's it. That is the entire assembly. All I have to do now is put the leads to it, obviously, but that's part of the installation kit. And everything else is ready to go. So the last piece of this, as I said, I'm choosing to use the center light, which is the only one you're, according to Fly LEDs, that's the only one you can use, is the center light. But I'm going to use that as my taxi light instead of all of it being the landing light. That's going to be my taxi light. So this just clips on to the 2 cutouts that you held the conical lens by and holds that in place. So we'll try that. Wipe this off.
So as I complete this last step of installing the diffuser cover over that center lens, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out and end it here. I appreciate those who continue to follow these videos. I'm going to have a couple pictures here just after this that show the light installed in the leading edge. And just want to say that this product is very easy to work with. It's an inexpensive option and very easy to assemble. And so I was very impressed with the Fly LEDs product. The next project I'll have is to put the position lights together for the wingtips, and I'm looking forward to doing just that. So anyway, again, thank you all for watching these videos, and we'll see you next time.